Hey folks, Chuck Mott here. I wanted to give you just do a video today of how to use your Boss RC500 as a backing tracks player. So this video isn't going to be about a lot of all those other cool things that your RC500 does that I'm actually not using yet. But rather this is going to be using your RC500 to play backing tracks, how to load in the backing tracks, where to get the backing tracks, and things like that, because there are some things that you're going to want to be aware of before you go ahead and start to do that. So I'm just going to kind of go over some basics here with you real quick. I do have and I'm going to go ahead and flip my camera around. My RC500 is connected via the mini USB in the back here, and it is connected to my Macintosh computer. For sake of clarity for this video, I already have Boss Tone Studio pulled up. Hopefully you have that and downloaded, but you can easily go find that and download it and find the version for your piece of equipment, and in this case the RC500. So anyway, I have the computer connected that way. I have the Boss RC500 hooked up. I have the output of the RC connected, partly because I needs to have that connected to power on, even though I've got the other thing, my power supply connected. You still need to plug in a cord into the output to power on. You'll see it in the back there, and I've got that connected to my my Yamaha mixing board, and for these purposes, it's just going into my studios. So this gives me a nice kind of a nice setup to be able to sit here and practice my tracks, but practicing my tracks is not necessarily the reason that I download them for. I want to kind of bring these into like a live situation. So essentially though, a couple of main things that you want to be aware of, and we'll touch back on these again, but I think these are points that I think are worth repeating. Your audio files, in order to play back correctly from the RC500, need to be in 32-bit wave file format. They're not going to play back for you any other way. So you need to convert those to 32-bit wave files. You also want to kind of check in on the volume of those, because as I show you, I'm going to show you from where I get my backing tracks, which is from karaoke versions. They're going to come in real hot. So you want to, the two main considerations really, you want to convert them to 32-bit wave files, because that'll save you a lot of frustration, and you want to set settings for the volume and save those before you go ahead and play them back, because you run the risk of blowing your speakers. They come out real loud and so distorted they're unusable at the full volume that you don't download them for. So you want to go ahead and manipulate those things once you get the tracks downloaded into your RC500. So as I said, what I do is I go ahead and I get them from karaoke versions here. So I want to show you guys, first of all, though, I have Boss Studio connected, Boss Tone Studio connected, and I have my backing track for my Mac that shows up as a hard file right here because it's connected to the computer. Shows up as a hard drive down here called Roland RC500. Convenient, right? And I pull that up, and that brings me over to a Roland folder, which brings me to one of two folders I can put my backing tracks in, data or wave. You want these to go over into wave, so we'll go ahead and open up the wave here, and basically that'll bring you into all your memory locations. Here's 0011, 001 being your memory location, track 1 being track 2, so on, and they're all kind of like labeled like that. Here's 001-2. We don't worry about these. We don't want it. We want everything, I think, the way I do it anyhow, is to load them into track 1 for the purposes of this. So memory 1, track 1, we're going to go ahead and download a file and get that in there for you. So that said, let me see, do I have karaoke versions pulled up? Maybe I don't. I thought I did, but I'm going to go ahead and do that now for you. I like this site. I think the files are very professional sounding, and definitely good enough. Some things to keep in mind. I like to, when I download sites from tracks from this, I've kind of taken to heart some stuff that I've heard, and I actually believe is true. That if you're doing stuff for a solo act, you don't really want to be doing loading down like all the stems for all the instruments and everything else. The more stems you put in there, the more karaoke it sounds. My idea was I was going to go ahead and just download some basic stems and then maybe add to them by recording them into my Logic Pro audio and adding my own guitar parts, my own whatever parts. So basically, with all these tracks that I've got, I essentially pretty much just use the bass and drums and maybe some percussion, unless this song really, really needs it, or there's some sort of arrangement thing reason that I need that in there. I will only use the drum and bass stems. So you can search once you get in there for a custom backing track and look for whatever song you look at. So let's just pretend we kind of looked for something here, and then we're gonna go ahead and you found it. You liked it, you modified it, you're going to go over into My Files. But I want to show you kind of, I'll pull up, let's see, Rockin' in the Free World, I'll pull that one up. So here I have Rockin' in the Free World pulled up. It's a song that I include in my solo. You'll notice here in the little box underneath, it gives you the tempo information. It gives you the key information. It tells you the song ends without fade out. They all do on here. And it also gives you the length of the song. And another thing I wanted to mention that is also kind of neat, one of the reasons I like it, although I don't use it that much, I try to, is that you can change the key down here. And where is that now? Down. You can change the key of this track, and it's down in the underneath the no, it's above that, right in here, up right near the download button. You'll see the key. You can move it up or down to your liking. I've only done that with a couple of tracks. I use most tracks with the original key, yeah, so you're able to do that. You can also download whatever stems you want. Stems being like the individual tracks. So here we've got Rockin' in the Free World. It's not real complicated as far as this instrumentation. I'm going to give my phone a minute to focus in. So I don't use the intro count click. I'm going to be creating my own count-ins with like a hi-hat sort of thing. That's going to be my way around adding any kind of click tracks, because I don't really want people to hear click, 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 click. But if you're in a band setting, live setting, trust me, all the time you'll hear the drummers kind of counting in the song on their hi-hat, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to add in some hi-hat count-ins, and then I don't have to be worried about how I'm going to pan everything and the audience hearing the click, because I'm not going to worry about that. I'm also not going to use the click track because I'll have the backing tracks to play along to, and it takes a little work to get used to that idea. Anyway, if you want to create your own count-in tracks, you don't necessarily need the intro or click tracks. I'm not going to use them. In this case, and as I had also mentioned, I could go ahead and download all these stems. I could download them individually by soloing them and downloading them one at a time. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to download just the drum kit and just the bass guitar, and it's going to be my live guitar and vocal in this situation. So if you want to download all the stems, you can absolutely feel free to do that. Download whatever it is you feel like you need. I don't really find these volumes things here real useful. And I think the drums and the bass are generally just very nicely balanced, and these tracks in general are nicely balanced. So I kind of leave them as they are, and I hit download. And once you hit download, it's going to download it into your system. Let's pretend, again, we just used a different song, but let's pretend I downloaded this one, like Lit, My Own Worst Enemy. What I'm essentially going to go ahead and do then is, first I want to, what's the first thing I want to do? I want to convert it to 32-bit WAV file first, right? Not going to play, be wasting your time, not going to be happening. You're going to be redoing it all over again. 32-bit WAV file in order for RC500 to play it back. And we will get, so we'll open up the RC500 here, for example. All right, we'll open up that Roland folder. Open up the RC500, open up the Roland folder, open up the WAV file folder like I showed you. And let's just pretend here that I just kind of already dragged it in. So I pick it up and move it. You know, do I need to show you that? Probably not. But you know, drag this track into a location where you like it. In my case, I like it. Yeah, it's starting to play it on me here. In my music folder, we don't want that. But anyway, so I drag those right over into the memory and track locations over here. In which case, if I was dealing with an empty RC500 here, I would put it in memory 1, track 1, and then just drag it right in here in 32-bit WAV format. That's essentially it as far as getting the track in there. What you want to do then is you want to go into your RC500. Let me show you where to find that. I'm going to disconnect this right now. Let's pretend we're already kind of already in it. So the other main thing that we're going to do, and we had talked about this, is you've got your track here, and essentially what you're going to do is you're going to hit track down here, track 1, which is where I have it loaded into, if you remember. And it's going to bring up a little menu. You want to go, let me talk a little bit about one shot. One shot is something that you want on. If you just want the track to play back and stop, you definitely want that on. Otherwise, when it ends, it's just going to go back to the repeat and start playing all over again. So you want one shot on. That's one setting that I do with all my songs. You'll see that I have the level in here is at 100. That's because when I loaded these tracks into here, I lowered the levels in my Logic Studio, and then kind of bounced them at something pretty low. So I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just downloading the tracks and setting the levels in my RC down to like 10. So you can grab this, not memory. You can grab the. Oh, you gotta kind of click here, then kind of click on your memory value button, and then you can just set your memory from there. And then you want to just save it. Hitting enter, I believe. Exit enter and then write. And then you'll save it at a volume other than the one that you had originally put it in there as, because it's going to blow your ears out and possibly your speakers. Don't do that. Don't know why Boss has it set up that way or whatever. But anyway, don't want to do that. You want to adjust your volumes. And then it's in your, then it's basically in there. All you really have to do is essentially hit, and I had set my RC up this way, and that's going to be a separate video on how to set up, adding some settings in your RC to get you to play back your tracks. But basically, I have mine set up so that once I do that, I can go ahead. I've got my track named here, and I can hit play, and boom, there it goes. You know, bass and drums track for ROCK in the USA. Toying with the idea of putting these things back in my looper, adding some backing vocals and maybe another guitar, but we'll see how that goes. Right now, everything's bass and drums in there, and that works for me. I have live streams, not very. I'm trying to get the sound quality of my live streams a little bit better, which is going to probably involve a little bit more gear, I think. But that's essentially it. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel. Mention you like it. If you don't like that, mention that also. And hopefully you find this helpful. Subscribe, like my stuff. And the next video that I'm going to put in regarding this is going to be more about formatting your pedal board to play back your backing tracks here for you, so that you can go. I have mine set up for recording to my playback, and my stop for my tracks is down here on why can't I find? Oh, there they are. record and play, plays back the track, and the track will stop on the end. And I have my button set up to move the stop button. I have programmed to go up to the next track, and my record button I have programmed to go. Let's see, where's the third button? Oh, my hand's covering it. My track select, I have to go down a track. So playback, using the one stop, and then using that to advance to the next track, using that to advance to go down a track if I wanted to go ahead and do that. That way I can click on my buttons just to kind of search through my list of tracks. So yeah, I'll show you how to do that, as well as some other considerations in another video. But thanks, like, subscribe, comment, and we'll talk to you soon. All right. So thanks for liking this video, and we'll talk to you guys again. Thanks. Bye bye.